Hello and welcome to episode 12 of Coffee with Kole, the Disney Lorcana trading card game talk show where we talk everything from collection to questing. And I'm your host, Kole. This week we're going to be talking about DLC Richmond and changes made from Milwaukee to Richmond, improvements, things that were great, things were not so great that could be better and made better for each and every Illumineer along the way, as well as my own personal experience throughout the weekend. Okay, so first off, I think it would be incorrect if I didn't start off by congratulating our first Disney Lorcana champion of 2026, Mr. Fungus, aka Mr. James Gray. Shout out here, I'll drop the little photo. Running blue-green and taking it with double T-pos for the win. T-po stonks. I think I saw someone already online dropped a photo of T-po foils being like $4 or $6 or more already. Crazy. Congratulations to you, sir. And if you didn't catch that game, make sure you go back and rewatch it on the Twitch channel of between Sky and Fungus. What a game. It was a mirror match. I think they were both running blue-green. Go back and watch it for yourself. Too good. On to the positive changes I noticed from Milwaukee to DLC Richmond. We had a collection quest. If you don't know Collection Quest, it's a pretty amazing thing they added, I think around Gen Con or maybe around Worlds last year even. Basically, you pay like $20, you get to choose between a couple different sets. At Richmond, they had Whispers in the Well and I think it was Arcadia's Island that you could choose between. You got like 4 packs. You open the packs and try to find certain cards. The certain cards generally on the list are like commons and uncommons. On my list, they all were, thankfully. I completed it. You got a little stamp, and then you got a promo. The promos were play promos, so I do think they could have been a little more unique promos or more enticing things to chase after, but we'll talk about that a bit later. It was still a blast to get to do all weekend, and then there were stacks of cards that you could kind of walk by through all weekend and filter through if you were missing in your collection and could take them home with you, which is really awesome, because a lot of the Illumineers have a lot of those bulk rares and super rares that are you know, I guess not wanted by them. I picked up a Cheshire Cat, some Headless Horseman super rares, cards I needed for my collection still, and it felt pretty good. It was pretty awesome. And of course, I got some Mickeys as well. The second thing that I noticed from Milwaukee to Richmond that was an improvement was efficiency. So some minor things were like the prize tickets. You had to wait in a line after to get the prize tickets in Milwaukee. Not in Richmond. You got your prize tickets at the table. The judges went around generally at the beginning of the round. They handed out the tickets. The winner just took the winning amount and the loser took the losing amount, which brings me to another awesome change. If you lost, you got prize tickets. So you still got like a couple hundred prize tickets. Depending on what the event was, the scaling was different. But you still got something, which was awesome. That was a great change for sure. As well as pack rush pods. I think you needed groups of 6 or 8 in Milwaukee. In Richmond, you needed one friend. You could crank through those like 10 to 15 minutes at a time and then hop right back in line and do its own thing. The only thing that was a little bit odd was that the on-demand events, so not the scheduled side events that you could do in the main room, but the on-demand events were in its own hall. And it was like on the other side of the convention hall, split completely by like a cheerleading competition. But apparently, I talked to some people on Twitter and they said that's actually fairly popular in the trading card game community. I'll maybe try to drop like a screenshot here of that conversation east of the Mississippi because cheerleading is so popular. So it wasn't ideal, but it did make the DLC challenge feel like it was 2 separate kind of things. They were really, really far apart. So I would love to maybe see that kind of re-brought back together, but that might just be the nature of the beast certain times of the year with these challenge events. The last big change I noticed was one of the things I was probably like the most vocal about in my later Coffee with Kole videos after Milwaukee was we had an Illuminary. Bam, photo of me Illuminary. Boom, photo of me in the Illuminary in cosplay. Bam, we had a great time this weekend taking photos in that thing. It looked so good. It wasn't as large, and it wasn't like interactive walk around like the European one, like I've shown in other videos. Maybe I'll even try to show the video again here. Bam. But it was definitely an improvement. This is maybe not a new, like little pop-up, photo booth thing that they've had. It was something that I maybe also had heard about. It was maybe at Nationals or maybe at Worlds or a couple of the DLCs of last season, but it was not in Milwaukee to take photos with. So glad it was there, and I hope it's something they'll continue to bring around at these type events. And the last few awesome, great changes I also noticed that were a little bit smaller details where the kids Illumineer Quest area, Young Illumineers, area was stocked with like coloring books or coloring pages and crayons and pencils, as well as puzzles, Ravensburger puzzles, which was awesome for them to play with and build, as well as the food was a little bit better priced than Milwaukee, which might just be like a local thing. But I did notice if you wanted to buy a Gatorade in the event hall, it was $5.75. But if you walk down the hall into like the middle area where all the cheerleaders were at and like the vending machines, it was $3.75. So you kind of have to hustle and find those deals for yourself at these big events because they will try to upcharge you in the room for convenience. But the last great change they also made was at the Collection Quest booth, they were selling product. They had like troves and puzzles and some things like that at MSRP so that the people at the booths aren't going to do these upcharges or try to resell at higher values. They only had certain items, but I hope that they grow those and will have like all of their products available for you to purchase at future events. But it was a nice change to see that at least. Okay, so I've already mentioned a few things like the split kind of venue and some of the things that could have been a little bit better. Some other major things though I think that really need work kind of immediately, a better viewing area. We need like beanbag chairs and like a giant projector screen, somewhere like where Illumineers who are feeling a little bit stressed out or a little bit too overstimulated but still want to stay plugged into the event can go watch some of the live stream and experience the event still without being in the midst of the craziness of it all. You also like in that same area could have like Lorcana blankets and like a popcorn machine, and I feel like the options and the things you could do there are endless. Okay, so the last major thing to me that I noticed that still I think needs a little bit of improvement would be the pricing. Some things were changed about the pricing, like I already talked about a little bit. You get tickets for loss, but they did kind of on the other end to offset that, they increased the amount of tickets you needed for the hat or the pin, the Elsa pin. And I even saw they sold out of some of the promos and some of the foil mats went already. Drop photo of that here. Like in my opinion, like these events, you should have so much of the product that like you should never sell out. For some, like that might just be part of it. It might eventually just happen if there's that many people grinding like side events and these things. But you just gotta, I don't know, we gotta fix it. As well as the pricing should feel like more fair per win. Personally, like a good example of this was in the Ink Sprint event. If you won, you got 700 tickets, but if you lost, you got 300 tickets. So the pricing difference for win to loss, if you went 3-0 to 0-3, the difference in pricing was 1,200 tickets. And just to put that in perspective, if you win one round of Pack Rush, you get 1,000 tickets. And that takes like 5 minutes. And these on-demand, or these side events of these best of ones ink sprints, they can take 2 or 3 hours. So why does anyone who really wants to get prize tickets want to spend 2 or 3 hours on maybe only getting 900 tickets or 1,200 tickets or a couple double that, and when they could spend that same time and a little bit more money and crank out some, I don't know, just the math doesn't quite math to me. So I think the pricing structure needs just another little tweak of a look at, but it's getting closer. So some things left that I would still like to see at these Disney Challenge events. I think first off, Mickey Mouse. I know I cosplayed Mickey Mouse this weekend, but I want some official character appearances at these events. And maybe it's going to take the scale of being at Disney World or Disneyland to do something like this, but Stitch has made an appearance on Broadway recently, and like these characters do pop-ups and other special events, so why can't at the Disney Lorcana Challenges, these big, massive events that are selling out in seconds, can we not get character appearances? I think that would be awesome. Second biggest thing that a couple of my content creator friends also mentioned is a content creator corner. So for people who are making Lorcana content, could meet each other, could mingle, you could also wait in a line for an autograph from Baker. Maybe you saw my TikTok I posted that now has like over 80,000 views, a 7-second video of Baker signing autographs. He's a popular man. I think this is something that's wanted. I think you could have scheduling with these content creators, and they could be playing matches like you do with your demos with your creators of the game, but with content creators versus players. They can meet and play a game of Pack Rush with their favorite content creator, like Rebecca Quests or JDZ, right? I think that that's something that the community yearns for, and I think there's a longing there, and I think there's a gap that we can fill. Another thing that I think that would be amazing, that I think the community's been pretty vocal about already, a cosplay competition. Now, Tate, the official Disney Lorcana photographer, shout out, does an amazing job with these photographs, as well as these videos that they've been posting on the official page that a lot of my cosplay friends were featured in alongside myself this past weekend and in Milwaukee. but I think that there needs to be something that brings not just an air of like prizing and gifts to people, but something that's tying this community together and a more of a common purpose other than just trying to get that promo, trying to get that golden Mickey. Yes, it's a Disney Challenge event, but this is a community-based game. They've made it very clear that they want the community to like have the cards and play with the cards and collect the cards. So why not celebrate that art through a cosplay competition? The last thing I think they could add kind of goes back to the first thing I said, being costume characters, photo pass. I feel like there's a massive gap in like press or like photos that they could be taking our money. We could have a QR code that you scan, and there could be people that are taking photos of you all weekend and documenting that these content creators could then use in their own content, or people who just like are there with their family could save their memories of like them playing games, them like meeting Mickey, meeting the artists, playing a demo with a content creator. There's so much there, I think, for potential for growth for these games. I think that if we all are loud enough, maybe we'll see the change that we want to see. After this whole weekend, my heart is so full. There was so much Lorcana experience, so many friends revisited and reunited, and new people met. A shout out to Iconic Deck Dad, Iconic Deck Dog, so many others that I can't remember to name right now. But I got to meet so many friends. I'll drop more photos, boom, 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 all around me again throughout the entire weekend. It was so cool to see and meet all these people at this event. Something so that I specifically cherish. I was able to complete some of my binder, my collection quest here, and get so many Mickeys. I think I got 108 Mickeys. It's like 11, 12-ish pages, and then I have a little quarter page there, and I got some foils even at the back, as well as more stickers from the community that went on my trade binder, and then more community cards, like people who cosplayed as things, and like I cosplayed as Mickey, obviously, and some people signed a card and gave it to me. Shout out to Thomas, who cosplayed the Hades and gave me a Hades card, and he cosplayed as Smee, I think, on Friday. I have some extra sticker from Digital Ink. So many awesome things. And one of my favorite parts about the whole weekend was I was locked in my Mickey detective outfit, searching for Mickeys at the collection quest table, and this guy comes over, and he's like, "Can I tell you something?" And I was like, "Yeah, absolutely, please." He says that I was really nervous about this weekend, and I picked up my deck and was going back and forth between playing this and playing that. I was sitting there and I was stressed out and I was in my head, and I look up from my current game I was playing in, and I see you walking around in this giant Mickey costume, and it just made me smile. Took a breath, took a moment. I locked in, and he said he took the rest of the games, and it was just something to me that really opened my eyes that this community is the best trading card game community in the world.
You thought I forgot? Nope. It's time for the hit of the week. What's up, Brando?
What's up, Kole? DJ Brando here with your karaoke hit of the week. This week's jam is Mature by Hilary Duff. She looks like all of your girls, but blonder. A little like me, just younger. Bet she loves when she hears you say you're so mature for your age, baby. If you want to rock this track, you go to wherever you stream music and smash that play button. Thanks, Kole. Bow.